Hello guys, welcome to McMister channel. Today we are here to discuss and learn about cavitation. So basically when cavitation terms comes, we think about only pumps. Yes, it happens mostly in the pumps, but it also happen in exchangers, venturies, downstream piping of control valves, pumps, etc, etc. So we will learn the technicalities. We will discuss here and learn how what's the mechanism, how why it's happened, what are the actions, proactive actions which need to be taken in pumps, exchangers, venturies and piping. So let's start. Stay with me at the end of the session and you will learn everything about cavitation and which you can apply in your plant for better performance and reliability. So let's start the session. First of all, the basic understanding of the cavitation. So cavitation is a formation and accumulation of bubbles around pump impeller or piping or exchanger tubes. So when there is a bubble formation and accumulation around the metal surface, uh, it's a start of the cavitation, and when then this tends to form a liquid of viscosity at being transported through the pump. At this tiny bubble collapse or burst, it creates high energy shock wave inside the liquid. So when there is a accumulation and formation of the bubble around the metal surface, it may be a pump casing, pump impeller or exchanger tube or venturi, then and when it collapses, it creates high energy shock wave and which impinge the metal surface and cause the destruction or erosion of the metal, damage, destruction of the metal, and that lead to the pit formation, which is calling cavitation. So you remember in earlier our childhood days, we used to throw the stone in the pond or river. So when we throw the stone, it creates the wave energy. So that wave goes and impact at the shore. So that's the same here. When bubble collapse, it creates similar waves, impact waves of high energy, and that impact on the metal surface and that damage, localized damage, causes the pitting in the metal surface. So basically it happens in the pump most of the time. With think about of cavitation, pumps image come in our mind, but it also happens in exchanger tubes, tube IDs, it happens in venturies. Okay, because here also there is a sudden change in the flow. It happens in the mechanical seals, downstream piping of the control valves. Okay, so first of all we'll see the pump. So what pumps? Pump is a device that moves the slurries or fluid by mechanical action. Okay, typically convert electrical energy to hydroelectric energy. So when the pump moves and there is a bubble formation, vapor bubble get forms and that accumulates on the metal surface, and when these bubbles collapse, they create pitting on the pump impeller, pump casings. So this is the basic definition of the cavitation, and the damage can also found in the restricted flow passes. Here we have restriction. So when the liquid pass through the restricted flow or other areas where turbulent flow is subjected to rapid pressure change within the localized region. So when there is a rapid pressure change, the chances of bubble formation will be high and the chances of the cavitation will be high there. So this is the basic understanding of the cavitation. Now we will see the mechanism. So first of all, the mechanism. So when initial bubble forms, it will be like this. Now initiation of bubble collapse. How the bubble collapse? Due to the surface tension, bubble will try to collapse and its surface area will reduce, and after formation of liquid droplet, this will be shrinking and trying to collapse. So the forces will be like this, and at the point of collapse, it will collapse like a microjet. So microjet form, and it will directly impinge here on the metal surface, and that impact of that causing the pit on the metal surface. So this is a common surface tension theory, how the bubble forms and get collapse, and that collapse of the bubble that create impact on the metal surface. Okay, so as vapor bubbles collapse, the microjet form that result in high forces that damage the equipment. Here in exchanger, this is my tube sheet and this is tube. When there is a sudden change in the flow pattern, there is a sudden restriction, then there are chances of the bubble formation in this area. Okay, so so the bubbles will directly form here and that will impinge here. So cavitation impingement in the area of turbulence. So here turbulence will be high and the cavitation, bubble formation and collapse will be high. So here also there are chances of the cavitation to happen. So this is the basic mechanism. Now critical factor is why these bubbles form. So first of all we have to understand, so bubble, when bubble can form when the pressure of the fluid comes nearby the vapor pressure of the liquid, then the bubble gets formed. So when there will be temperature of fluid approaches to the boiling point of the liquid, then also the bubble get formed. So we have to avoid this, we have to avoid the boiling or reaching the temperature near the boiling of the fluid, then there will chances of the more bubble formation. So that need to be avoided. Then inadequate NPSH. NPSH is net positive suction head. Every pump while startup it should have the net positive suction head. If there is no NPSH, a required NPSH, then there will be a chances of bubble formation, and that leads to the cavitation. So these are the two things. Then when there is a presence of the solid or abrasive particles, this will accelerate the damage, because that will lead in the erosion corrosion phenomena as well. So cavitation taking place in the corrosive environment can accelerate by the corrosive effect of the environment. If my environment or fluid is corrosive, then this will be further cavitation will be further accelerated, and then that phenomena is known as cavitation corrosion. Okay, right. So now we understood the basic mechanism. Now the types of cavitation. So types of cavitation, first is vaporization or inadequate NPSH. So when there will be vaporization in the pump, vaporization of liquid, it will form the bubble. So it occurs when the centrifugal pump imparts velocity on liquid as it passes through the eye of the impeller. If the impeller isn't functioning correctly, some of the liquid may be boiled quickly and vaporized, creating tiny shock waves as shown here. So the liquid will get vaporized, and that will create the tiny vapor bubbles that create shock wave and impact the metal and erode. Now the turbulence is second thing. So turbulence, if parts of the system like piping, valve, filters, elbows, etc., that are of inadequate size for the amount of liquid which is being pumped, it also can result in the vortex formation, and when there will be vortex formation, there will be lots of turbulence, and turbulence also lead to the bubble formation. So we need to check all the things which lead to the bubble formation that need to be avoided. Third is Vane syndrome. So this occurs when impeller used has too large dia or housing has too thick, means overall area inside the pump got reduced. That is called vane syndrome. So when this happens, the small amount of free space creates high velocity in the liquid, which leads to the lower pressure, and this leads to the creation of the cavitation bubbles. Sorry. Now internal recirculation. When we have certain restrictions on the discharge side, like we have throttled the discharge valve, we have sometimes closed the discharge valve, and we have started the pump running. So when there is a discharge restriction or closed valve, then the fluid will internally recirculate in the pump only. So this is what internal recirculation. So in this instance, the pump cannot discharge the proper rate of the liquid, so liquid recirculate around the impeller. Okay, the liquid travel through the low to high zones, resulting in high heat and high velocity. The result is vaporized bubble. Okay, so the common cause of this is discharge valve have been closed while pump is running. We did not to close the discharge valve or throttle the discharge valve. And fifth and last one is air separation cavitation. So air can sometimes suck into the pump through the failing valves or other weak points such as ring joints. So from some places air can ingress in the pump as the liquid switched around. The air form bubble which get popped under pressure by impeller. So the air will get sucked in the this liquid, and that forms a bubble and which pops around the impeller and the casing. So these are the basic reasons of the cavitation to happen in the pump. Now what are the affected materials that can be affected by the cavitation? Okay, so we will divide it into two parts. So first and second. Now copper and brass more prone to cavitation, cast iron more prone, carbon steel more prone, low alloy has some strength, but these are also prone, but they have certain resistance. So these are most prone. When coming to 300, they are also prone, but they are has certain resistance, but they are also not immune, like 300 stainless steel, 400 stainless and nickel alloy. These are better than the first group, but they are also not immune. They may possess the cavitation phenomena. Now what are the symptoms? How you realize that the in my system there is a cavitation? So first, decrease in flow or pressure, because there will be a restriction, turbulence, so there will be decrease in flow or pressure. You will see unexpected vibration in your pump, casing, piping. So unexpected vibration. You can see the impeller erosion, the size of impeller get reduced, pump will not functioning well, there will be chances of high vibration erosion. Seal bearing failure, you are seeing lots of bearing and seal failures. Then erratic power consumption, pump needs lots of power for consumption, that's also a sign that cavitation is happening. And last one is the noise, you will hear lots of noise. So this is a basically centrifugal pump, is a inlet suction, we are calling outlet discharge. Here when there will be air entrapment or bubble formation, these bubbles will get under these vanes and the casing, and that will cause the damage. Now what are the possible actions for the pumps? You have to check by reducing the motor speed, install an impeller reducer, incorporate a booster pump to support the pump, reduce the temperature of the liquid to stop the boiling or vapor formation, increase the liquid around the suction area. you have to increase the liquid level. This means increase the NPSH. Increase the diameter of the eye of the center of your impeller. You have to increase the diameter of the eye. Do not exceed your pump manufacturer performance guidelines. So what pump manufacturer's guidelines here? Performance curve. You have do not exceed that performance curve. Increase the pump suction line size to reduce the turbulence. So you can increase the suction inlet line size. This also will help. Okay, now proactive actions what you can do. So first is you have to avoid bubble formation. You have to streamline the flow. This is for piping venturi. Streamline the flow to reduce the turbulence in exchangers, pipings and all. Okay, so you have to reduce and streamline the flow. Then decrease the fluid velocities. You have to decrease the fluid velocity. Remove the entrained air which has gone in the system. You have to remove that. Then altering the fluid properties, perhaps adding additives. Okay, so by altering the fluid properties you can control the bubble formation. Using hard face, this is upgradation. You can hard face or hard surfacing your pump parts or piping parts or tubing parts to make it cavitation resistance, or using a harder and corrosion resistant material. You can upgrade material directly. So these are the actions which you can take proactively to avoid this cavitation. So friends, we have learned the cavitation is not only a problem in the pumps, it's also in exchanger, pipings, venturies and the downstream piping where there is a turbulence. So hope you have found this video useful. So like my video, share with your friends on social media if you finding this video useful, and it's a lecture series and to be continued. So thank you very much.